Hey Hardee's, it's your girl Brand. Thanks for tuning in today with me in my next chapter of living my best life after retirement. Today I have my young grandson here with me.
Hi.
And I'm about to put a couple braids in his hair so he can play football tomorrow and put his helmet on. And that's one of the best parts about being retired. You get to spend time with your grandkids. And I don't know, buddy, do you like spending time with Nana?
Definitely. Yeah.
All right. So here we go. Please, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Okay. So I've been braiding hair since I was about 12 years old. And I actually learned how to braid hair on my baby doll. I know, young girls at 12 years old these days, they don't even play with baby dolls. But I did. You know, we used to make little clothes for them and everything. And I think I was so fascinated with the braids because I had a lot of hair. But my mom, she couldn't braid. And so my dad would have to, I found somebody that braided my hair. My dad would have to pay for somebody to braid my hair. And back then, there was no beads, no weave, or none of that. But I was blessed to have long hair. So, I learned, like I said, probably because of that, my mom couldn't do no hair. All she could do was ponytails. I was so sick and tired of ponytails. But I learned on my baby doll's hair, and we lived in an apartment complex at this time. And my mom, she's always been a supportive mom. And so when I was ready, and I started asking some of the little kids in the apartment complex, of course with their mom's blessing, you know, if I could braid their hair. And if they let me braid their hair, I could give them some ice cream. And, you know, it'd be summertime. And so, of course, you know, they was all for the ice cream. And so my mom would actually keep ice cream in the house for me so that I could give it to the little girls so that they would let me practice braiding in their hair. So anyways, let's see. And so I actually got really good at it. And so then I became like the family hairdresser, so to speak. I actually went to cosmetology, but and I talked about that before in my other video, but unfortunately, my niece, who's gonna let me use her hair as a model, use her for a model, decided to get her hair shaved 3 weeks before my practical test, and so therefore I actually never ever got to get my license. But here we go. So I'm going to have somebody add some music into that.
I know we're good.
Now, one thing about my grandsons, boy, I tell you, they really love their nanas. I'm not saying my granddaughters don't love me, but those boys seem to have a different relationship with me. And how many of it is it, buddy? How many cousins do you have, boy cousins?
Like a lot.
You got a lot? I can remember not too long ago, I saw this thing on Facebook. And the mom was asking her sons, you know, suppose your mom had went to, me and your grandma had went out of town, out of the country, and we needed to get back home. You remember me asking you about this, buddy?
Yeah.
And And they was just like, so, and we ran out of money. Who would you, and you only had $700 and you could only get one of us back. Who would you get back? And I can remember, and of course they said they would get their grandma back, which was funny. And so I had asked Buddy that, and he hemmed and he hawed and he hemmed and he hawed. And he, right away, he said, Dad, are you going to have enough money to get Mom? So right then and there, I knew if if I didn't come home, she wasn't coming home too. He wasn't going to leave me. So I thought that was just the cutest little thing. He was going to find a way to get me home too. So that's the one thing I love about my grandkids. They seem to really, really love me, and I love them just as much. Buddy always tells me, Nana, you spoil us, you spoil us.
Because it's true.
Well, I love you guys, and I want you guys to know that I love you. And I didn't grow up with grandparents. I know that seems kind of sad, but I really didn't grow up with grandparents. That's kind of a sad story in itself. My grandfather on my mom's side, he had left home. My mom said after my grandmother was very mean. We loved her, but she was very mean, so we didn't spend a lot of time with her. And my mom had said that when all the kids grew up and moved out of the house, Grandpa kind of left, and she didn't hear from him again until, he had got sick and he wanted to get in touch with her. And my grandmother on my father's side passed away when he was only 9 years old, so I never got to meet her. And an unfortunate thing happened with his father. I guess I'm telling all the family tea right now. I guess my great-grandparents, grandmother, didn't like my grandma, and so they gave her a really, really hard time, and she ended up passing away. And they thought she passed away for a broken heart because of all the drama that was going on. And so her sister raised my father. Now when grandfather got remarried and started having another family, he tried to get my dad, and they moved him around from family member to family member so that he could not be a part of his father's life. Unbeknownst to him, this was happening, and he always had the assumption that his father had abandoned him. And when I was in the 9th grade, my Uncle Roy, who lives down in Florida, had started driving taxis, and he was taking people to doctor's appointments and stuff like that. And he had formed a relationship with one of the nurses there, and they got to talking and this, that, and the third. Long story short, it was my father's sister, and they had been looking for him his whole life. And of course, he knew absolutely nothing about him. And I remember when Grandpa passed away, Western Union had sent my dad a telegram saying that he was gone and they wanted him to come to the services, but because of he felt like he had been abandoned, he didn't go. And all that time, he really had not been abandoned. It was just, it was an ugly game that they played, moving him around so that he couldn't be a part of his father's life because they thought his mother was the cause of her passing away. But when I look back on the pictures, my grandmother was a healthy lady, just like I am now. And so that runs deep in our family. Like I said, I've always been a bigger girl because my dad was definitely a bigger guy. And I'm sure that's probably was more to do with it than a broken heart. But back then, you really couldn't tell them that, you know. So
my man.
It is what it is. It was unfortunate that those things happened.
Yeah, I know.
But that's what happened. So.
It's unbelievable that you go back to
And this is just,
really
a lesson for anybody that's out there that's listening to this story that I'm telling, and they know of something like this. Please, don't hold back. Let the people know who their family is, because family is all we have. It's very important that we know who our family is. And like I actually got to meet Grandma when I was in the 9th grade, and my dad siblings, and he had like 15 other siblings that he really didn't get a chance to know because he was hidden from them. And I remember when we went to,
Are you sure?
a lot of my relatives lived right around in the same vicinity within walking distance. And so I had met one of my cousins, and we were just walking. They said, oh, we're going to go to Uncle Fred's house. So, of course, we go to Uncle Fred's house, and we knock on the door. And this gentleman comes to the door, really big, tall gentleman. Not quite as big, though, but tall enough. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, my gosh, Daddy, when did you change clothes? And I realized he wasn't quite as big as my dad. And I'm thinking, oh, my gosh, it was Uncle Fred. When I tell you they could have been twins, they could have been twins. And he actually passed away 6 weeks after my founder. They ended up with a close relationship, and that was a blessing. That was truly a blessing. And I can remember when they first found out he found out about his siblings. He had a lot of them were married in the military or married military men. And so there was a military base a couple hours away, and some of my aunts were there with their husbands. And my brothers and my father went down to meet them. And like I said, I didn't meet them until I was in the 9th grade, a couple years later. It was actually that Christmas we all went down. We went down, well, not all of us, just I went down with my dad. So it was a good time. I had a lot of good memories with my father. And it's unfortunately, I feel bad for him that he didn't get that much time with his siblings, but he did get a chance to meet them all. And they always showed him a lot of love, and they always showed us a lot of love. So that's a blessing. Well, like I said, this is just a quick hairdo for Buddy to play football, because I think next week or the following week is school pictures, and he'll come over and get a nicer hairdo. I can remember when I used to braid my oldest grandson's hair, Drill, and like I said before, I've had a lot of injuries and stuff like that, so I hurt my hands, and that's why Buddy didn't want to ask about me braiding his hair this time. He wanted to save it for school because they know my hands aren't the best, and they wanted to save them. And I can remember telling Brill, I don't know how long Nana's gonna be able to braid your hair because her hands are not the best. And I said, and these Tylenols are not working. And he said to me, well, Nana, have you ever tried a leave? You might have to try a leave. And I thought that was the cutest thing. He never said he was going to stop getting his hair braided. I was just going to have to find some different medication to keep those braids going. But anyways, I used to love braiding hair. And some of my granddaughters, they still get the braids with the beads. Although my one son said his little girl was too big for beads. She's only 8 years old. She's not too big for beads. So if she want beads in her hair, beads in her hair she can get.
She was miserable. I wanted her to have a life.
Buddy, is there anything you would like to say?
No.
No? Are you excited about your football game tomorrow?
Yeah.
Nana's not going to be able to go because it's away. So your next home game, though, you know I'm there. You know the girl is going to be there. Cheering you on. I got to go and pick up my suitcase tomorrow from Nan's house.
At Univera Healthcare, we're right here in Western New
I
York
wonder
for a
if
reason.
I'm
We have free and low-cost health coverage for people and families in our community, with options like Medicaid managed care, the essential home and child health plans, and benefits like no-cost preventive care, dental, vision, and more. So if you're looking for an affordable way to get proper use
Like I was saying too, it's always something to keep you busy when you retire. We just gotta make ourselves be available. I know our hands might not be the best, but you know what? There's something we can do a little something, and to keep us busy, take some medication. Cause hey, those aches and pains are not gonna go away as long as we're still here. But we gotta keep pushing forward. That's one thing for certain. Two things for sure. We can't give up. So maybe you can't do a whole bunch of small braids or plaits or anything like that, but hey, just brush your comb and spend time with them, just so you know they talk. And that's my biggest thing. You know, I wanted to be able to spend time with them before they grow up and get their own lives, and they don't have time for me, because there's probably going to be a time when they're not going to have time for Nana no more. Right, buddy? You have your own little family, and Jehovah knows I'm hoping I'm around to see it. Lord's willing. I'll be there. Mm-hmm. So looks like we're almost at the end already, buddy. Mm-hmm. Get these edges. Done. And hearties, if you like my vibe, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. And you can be on my journey with me, learning a lot about me and how I got to retirement. And the things that I think is important. My grandson got on the shirt, and turn around, buddy. Look at that shirt. Absolutely, God is king. Mm-hmm. You better believe he is. Say with that, thank you for joining me today. In my next chapter on my journey to living my best life. And like I always say, never let them steal your joy. Turn around, buddy, so they can see your hair. Never let them steal your joy. And let's live our best life. Peace. Say bye.
Bye.